Namaste. Today I will be talking to you about Sarvangasana or shoulder stand. The literal translation of Sarvangasana is Sarva means all, Anga means limbs or parts of the body, and Asana means posture. So this means that this asana is beneficial for the entire body. Sarvangasana is also called the mother of all the asanas. So just like a mother strives for happiness and harmony inside the family, this asana helps to maintain harmony and happiness within our own body and mind. Sarvangasana comes under the category of inversions. Therefore, the upper body comes towards the ground and the lower body goes upwards. And therefore, it's an inversion asana. This asana has to be done with lot of care, and all the techniques that I'm going to explain today must be borne in mind when you're practicing this asana. People having cervical spondylosis, high blood pressure, slip disc problems and glaucoma may avoid doing this asana. Now I'll come to the benefits of this asana. The benefits of Sarvangasana come from the fact that the body is inverted and the gravity changes and there is a chin lock in this asana. The first and the foremost benefit of Sarvangasana comes due to the chin lock which happens in this asana. So when the chin is locked on the chest in Sarvangasana, the thyroid glands and the parathyroid glands get compressed or squeezed and the blood flow into these glands improve, due to which the functions of the thyroid glands improve. That is the first important benefit of Sarvangasana. The second benefit comes from the fact that the inversion of the body happens. Due to the inversion of the body, the blood flow comes more into the upper body, towards the chest, throat, etc. Now when this happens, automatically the blood flow improves the functions of your heart, the functions of your lungs, problems of asthma, wheezing, throat problems, sinus. The entire respiratory system get benefited with Sarvangasana. The venous blood flows towards the heart due to the inverted gravity without effort. Therefore, the heart functions also improve with Sarvangasana. The chin lock which happens near the throat region regulates the blood supply into the head region. Therefore, it also soothes the nervous system. Since the nervous system is calmed down, it helps to get better sleep quality. Sarvangasana is also good for strengthening the upper body, including the shoulders, neck region, etc. Another benefit of Sarvangasana comes on the digestive system. It's a very good asana to reduce the problems of constipation because of the change in gravity of the foot pipe. Because of the change in gravity of the body, Sarvangasana also helps to reduce the effects of hernia. So when there is a displacement of an organ, it can happen generally downward. When the inversion happens, this downward herniation is reduced. Problems like uterine displacement, piles, fissures and fistula, all these hernia related problems can improve with continuous and regular practice of Sarvangasana. Since the leg goes up in Sarvangasana, the blood flow towards the leg is reduced. Therefore, the problems of varicose veins are also reduced by practicing this asana. I think I have covered almost all the benefits of asana. Now let us see how to perform this asana. There are different ways to reach this asana. First, I will show you how a beginner must practice Sarvangasana. So, a beginner must practice Sarvangasana with the wall support. Initially, start the asana with the wall support. Once you feel that you are able to do the asana properly with the wall support, come to the middle of the room and try to practice this asana. Now, I will show you how to practice this asana with the wall support first. So the beginner has to keep the mat close to the wall and come close to the wall. After coming close, sit close to the wall facing one side, and the body and the legs and the side of your hips touching the wall. Once this is done, try to turn towards the wall and at the same time try to take the legs up. So now my legs are on the wall and my body is flat on the ground. So remain in this position for a little time with normal breathing. Senior citizen can stay in this position, and this is called Viparita Karni, where the half of the body is inverted. So many of the benefits of Sarvangasana will come through this pose itself, which is called Viparita Karni. Once you are comfortable in this position, with an exhalation, bend your legs, both of them, slightly, and just keep both the feet on the wall. You don't have to bend it too much, slightly bend it. After keeping both the feet on the wall, gently push your feet on the wall and with an inhalation, lift your hips away from the floor, like this. And immediately when you lift, support your back. Now, this is the second level. Now, if you are comfortable to stay here in this position itself gives you almost all the effects of Sarvangasana. If you are comfortable to stay there and practice, this is enough. And slowly, in this position, if you are able to stay conveniently, stay in this position for some time and then slowly come back with an exhalation and relax. This is the second level. Now once you feel the second level is good enough, again do the same thing. This time go a little more further. So inhaling, take your hips up, support your back, stay here, exhale your breath. If possible, go to the next level carefully without losing the balance. Take one leg up. Now practice taking one leg up first, then keep that leg down, take the other leg also up with an inhalation and bring it down. Now practice this one leg raising for a few days, then slowly come back. So initially you have to practice without bending the legs, just keeping the legs on the wall. Then the second level, fold your legs down, inhaling, lift your hips up. Stay in this position for a few days, don't go further, maintain this position. Once you feel you are convenient to stay in this position, you can take one leg up, keep it down, inhale, take the other leg up, exhale, keep it down. Once you feel you're good with raising one leg, and then try to slowly take the other leg also. Don't worry too much about the angle or straightness of your back, so just maintain this position. You can breathe slowly with Ujjayi Pranayama. Then exhaling, put your legs down, inhale there and exhale, bring your hips back to the ground. Then relax here for some time. After feeling good, slowly bend your legs. Turn to your right side. Stay there for some time. Then press your left hand and come to sitting position. So what I showed you now is for the beginners using the wall support, how to do Sarvangasana. Now once you are able to practice on the wall, go to the next level. Try to practice this asana in the middle of the room. So lie down flat on the mat. Inhaling, take both the arms over the head. Stretch it. While exhaling, stretch your legs to the bottom. So this step is very important. So when I stretch the arms upward and stretch the legs downward, the natural shape of our spinal column comes. And so you can see the S shape will come. So the lower back is getting a slight curve upward. The neck, the cervical spine is getting a curve upward. The thoracic spine is downward. So the natural spinal shape has to come when you are practicing all the supine asanas. Now if you get this, you will not get injury on the back. Now, therefore, the first stretching the arms upward and stretching the legs downward is very important in all the supine poses, including this asana, Sarvangasana. So beginners, after attaining this supine posture, with an inhalation, bend both the legs. You can bend it one by one or both together. With an inhalation, bring it close to the stomach. Then while exhaling, bring the hands down. And while inhaling, lift your hips and support the back with your hands. That's all. Now slowly exhale here first. Then while inhaling, try to take the legs upwards or little angular towards that side. Now stay there and take 3 to 5 breaths. Looking at the toe, point your toes upward. Take the majority weight on the shoulder and the elbow. After few weeks of practice with the legs inclined, try to gradually take the legs upward and lower the hand support. Adjust your hand support and try to make it straighter and straighter. After finishing about 5 breaths in this position, slowly bending the legs and using the curvature of the backbone, exhale and come down. Then relax in Shavasana. So that is how you must practice immediately after coming out of the wall as a beginner while starting the practice independently in the middle of the room. Now once you are able to practice this asana comfortably with bringing the legs upwards, bending the legs, now you can try to go to the next level where you can do the same asana with the legs straight going up. So again I will come to Samasthiti. Inhale, arms over the head. Exhale, point your toes and stretch your legs. Inhaling, take both the legs up, straight legs. Exhaling, bring both the arms down. And with an inhale, go up. Then start exhaling. Inhale.
During an exhale, slowly come down. Then inhale, take the arms over the head. And exhale, bring the legs down. Inhale in this position. Exhale, bring the hands down. And relax in Shavasana. This is how the senior practitioner must practice Sarvangasana. Initially, when you start with, your body may be like this. This is fine. And if you feel there is too much of pain on the neck or difficulty on the neck, you can continue to balance like this. Here the majority of weight is taken by the elbows and the hands. Still, most of the benefits of Sarvangasana will come. But seniors gradually try to make it more and more straighter by bringing the hand support downwards. So try to squeeze the thyroid between your chin and chest and maximize the perpendicularity of the backbone. So this style of Sarvangasana is called Salamba Sarvangasana. Lamba means support. Salamba means with the support. So we are taking the support of the hand in Sarvangasana. Now after you master Salamba Sarvangasana, you can also try keeping the hand down. So that is called Niralamba Sarvangasana. So where there is no support. That's for seniors. And then those of you who can take the arms on the legs, keeping the hands on the thighs. This is the second level of Niralamba Sarvangasana. So all these variations can be tried. There are further variations like Padmasana in Sarvangasana, folding the legs into Padmasana in Sarvangasana. See, these are all advanced poses which go to the next level. So there are a lot of other variations of Sarvangasana which are not in the scope of this video.
So I have explained 3 levels of practicing Sarvangasana. The first level was on the wall. The second level was coming to Sarvangasana, folding the legs and rolling up on the back. And the third level of Sarvangasana was trying to do that asana with straight legs. These are the 3 levels of Sarvangasana. Now I will come to the important points, very important points that must be noted in Sarvangasana. The most important point in Sarvangasana is protecting the neck. Sarvangasana is called shoulder stand. It's not called neck stand. So therefore, the weight of the body is taken by the shoulders and not by the neck. And when you practice Sarvangasana, the cervical spine should not take direct load of the body. If the cervical spine takes direct load and that 90-degree bend comes, it can have adverse effect on the cervical spine. Therefore, it is very important to practice this asana with proper techniques. Now I will show you how to minimize the direct loading on the cervical spine.
To prevent the load on the center of the neck, try to push the hip upward as much as possible and reduce the load on the cervical spine. You can see here that there is a slight gap between your cervical spine and the ground, and the shoulder is taking the majority weight. So don't keep the shoulder out. So try to lift your hip, push the shoulder down, roll your shoulders and lift the center of the neck upwards and minimize the load on the direct neck and take majority weight on the shoulder. And that's exactly why this asana is called shoulder stand and not a neck stand. Now if the person is not able to lift the center neck with the shoulders pushing ground, You can use this technique by placing 3 to 4 blankets below the shoulder and elevate the shoulder and the neck, keeping the back of the head on the floor. So in this way, if you practice, the direct force on the neck will not be too much and the shoulders will be able to take the weight. By doing this, you can prevent injury on the neck. The elbow must be the same distance as of your shoulder distance. All the fingers should be facing upward and the full palm should be supporting the back. So the elbows must not be kept wider than the shoulders and the thumb must not be kept separate. Keep all the fingers facing upward. The toe must be pointed upward towards the sky. Don't keep your toe loosened towards the floor. Try to stretch it upward. And the drishti will be on the tip of the toe. Don't separate your feet. Try to keep your toes and heels together. Don't allow the knees to separate outward. Knees or thighs. Try to keep your knees and thighs together and roll your thighs inward so that the stretch goes upward. The anus must be locked and pulled down towards the ground. Don't keep the anus loose and protruded. Suck the anus in. That's called Moola Bandha.
I think I've covered almost all the important points of Sarvangasana. Just to recap, the most important point this asana is the protection of the neck. When you get all the benefits of Sarvangasana, be very sure that the majority weight is taken on the shoulders and very less on the cervical spine. So try to lift your hip upward and keep a slight gap between the cervical spine and the ground and take majority weight on the shoulder. This is the most important point in Sarvangasana. The second is that gradually progress. So beginners start with the wall. Intermediate level people try to bend the legs and slowly roll up into Sarvangasana. And when you are convenient with that, try to go to Sarvangasana with the straight legs. So ensure that you travel with that progression. This will strengthen your neck and shoulders and prevent injuries. Another important point is that try to improve the straightness of the body when you remain in Sarvangasana. The more the straightness comes, the more will be the squeeze on the thyroid gland. So as much straightness as you can bring, perpendicularity you can bring, the benefits of the asana are more. While staying in this asana, try to breathe very slow breathing, Ujjayi Pranayama. Inhale slow and deep and exhale slow and deep. Drishti in this asana is on the toe. Point your toes upward towards the sky. Try to keep your toes and heels together. Roll your thighs inward. Don't allow the legs to go away from each other. Keep your back straight. Make good perpendicularity. Lock the anus muscles and do Moola Bandha. Days passing by, try to improve the straightness of your back. Keeping the hand support as low as possible. Keep the elbows closer and closer, as close as possible, almost close to your shoulder distance. Keep all the fingers facing upward, supporting the entire palm on your back. Focus all these important points in mind and take care about all these points. You don't have to be fearful while practicing this asana, just take care, that's all. When you take care and follow all these important points that I spoke about, all the benefits of Sarvangasana will come to you. Namaste.